All right, welcome everybody. This is going to be the weekly recap here. Week ending 10/16 of 2020. Man, this was a really good week. But before we even get into that, once again, I want to talk about the importance of keeping stats. Now, if you've been watching my videos, I keep stats on every single one of these PAP trades. Now, when I say it's a naked setup, basically what that means is that with my strategy, everything is based off of patterns, okay? But we also have some additional patterns that act as filters, okay? I call it EOM. And those will filter out a lot of the trades, all right, that are weaker. And so, but what you're seeing here is you're seeing no filtration. So these are the stats without any kind of filtration. Now, the importance of keeping stats is, and one of the things my members know, and for anybody that's trading binaries, particularly if you're trading patterns, patterns have patterns within patterns, all right? And the other thing is when you start keeping track of all your trades, you're going to notice patterns like what time during the day is the market stronger? When is it weaker? When do the patterns tend to work better than other times? And the only way you're going to ever know that is if you keep stats, if you keep track of every single one of your trades. Now, that doesn't mean that you only keep track of the trades that you make. You must keep track of every single trade, whether you take it or you don't, whether it's filtered or non-filtered. You must keep track of that. So one of the things that I've noticed, and my members know this, and this is a little clue to those that are trading binaries, is markets tend to be much better in the morning than they are in the afternoon, and then they pick up later on in the afternoon. Okay, so that's when I tend to get more aggressive, and then as the day wears on, I get less aggressive, and then at night I can come back and get a little bit more aggressive. All right, so you would never know that unless you looked at your stats. The other thing my stats tell me is I look at the stats the first part of the day, and then I look at my stats the second part of the day, because what I'm seeing in the first part of the day a lot of times will give me some indication of what I'm going to see for the rest of the part of the day. So let's say that my stats are very strong in the morning, then that's also an indication that things are going to start getting weaker in the afternoon. Obviously, I want to back off. If for some reason my stats aren't real strong in the morning, then that also gives me some indication that I'm probably going to start having some better results going into the afternoon, all right? But in most cases, most of your strongest stats are going to be first thing in the morning. But once again, when they're not, that's also a great indication of telling me kind of what I can expect for the rest of the day, and also kind of what I can expect in the evening. And those that have purchased the core package know what I'm talking about. They've seen this in action. They've seen that is true. And they also understand the importance of keeping track of every single one of your trades. So whether you're trading my program or any program, it's absolutely imperative that you keep track of every single one of your trades. If you don't have time to sit in front of the screen all day, at least you spend 2 hours during the day, keep track of those trades so you can kind of know where you are and what it looks like. All right, that's so important. The other thing I wanted to say is that whenever you're trading any program, I don't care what program it is, any program, you also want to look for a bias. Okay, so every pattern, every type of setup is going to have a better bias. So in other words, some of your patterns are going to work better on shorts than they are on buys, and some are going to work better on buys than they are on shorts. You would never know that unless you're keeping track of your stats. So once again, that's the other thing, is when you're trading, I have 5 different patterns, and every single pattern has a different bias to it. And so when I'm trading a pattern, I'm going to be a little bit more biased to one direction than I am the other. Okay, because I know that those tend to perform better on a short than say they are on a buy, and then some perform better on a buy than they do on a short. Never would know that without keeping track of your stats. Now, if you all want to be a successful trader, this is not something you guys can ignore, all right? Once again, if you're a hobbyist, then you're probably not going to be doing this, which means you're probably not going to be having successful trades. If you want to get serious about your trading, which you have to do if you want to be successful, then you need to put the time and effort into it. It's just like any other profession. You have to put the time and effort into it, and this is a big part of it, is keeping track of your stats. So you have to ask yourself, if you're not having great results, okay, the results always get back to you as an individual trader, okay? It's not the program you're trading. It's not the patterns that you're trading. It's how much time have you put into it. Have you been keeping stats? Have you been doing your research? Have you been putting in screen time and watching the action? Do you have a good idea on how Aussie and the Euro, what are their personalities and how is it different from the pound US and the US yen? Okay, because they all have different personalities. Do you understand what those personalities are? When you come in and you start trading, can you tell whether the Aussie US is acting normal or not? And if it's not, do you want to trade? Probably not. So you have to understand all those things. And if you're not willing to put in the time to learn, then you don't need to be trading. You need to be giving your money and putting your money in a mutual fund and let somebody else do the trading for you. Because, folks, I'm telling you, 99% of the people out there that want to be traders they end up losing money because they don't put in the time and effort. They want everything easy. They want everything handed to them. They want somebody to give them a signal and say buy and sell here. And, folks, that's never going to work. Never has worked. And if you've been a system junkie, which a lot of people are, I was one at one time, you'll find that they don't work. All right? So that's the reality of trading. So once again, I keep stressing this over and over and over again, is you guys want to be successful, you got to put the time and effort into it. If you don't want to do it, you're going to be a hobbyist, and that's the kind of results you're going to get. You're going to make some, you're going to lose some. You're going to make some, going to lose some. But more than likely, you're probably going to be losing more than you're making. And there's only one person to blame, and it's not me. It's not the program. It's not the patterns. It's you as an individual. All right. And so you have to ask yourself: are you the type of individual that can take that kind of responsibility and put in the time and effort to become a good trader? Or are you not? All right. So let's take a look at CB. Now, once again, overall, well, let's talk about the stats. Stats overall, not bad. I mean, in the 70% range, which is what I pretty much expect. Pound US, never been a strong one for me. Never really been one that I've traded very much. There are certain patterns that work great in the pound, and I will trade those. But overall, you're going to see me staying away from the pound US. Still in the 60%, 68. That's kind of what I would expect. Now on the Aussie and the Euro and the US, definitely expecting to be in the 70% range. The US yen, as you've been following me now for several months, the US yen is my go-to now. That is my baby because it's been super strong. And the other thing you're going to know, and you're not going to know it unless you're keeping stats, is when is one pair going to get stronger than the other. And what you're going to find is that the beauty of this is that when it gets strong, it stays strong for several months. I mean, it could 6, 7, 8 going into a year, and you'll find that to be the case. So that's the beauty. It's not like all of a sudden the yen's strong and it just gets weak again. The yen is picking up, and it's been consistently, if you've been watching these stats and been looking at these videos over the last several months, you know that the yen's just been crazy, successful, crazy, accurate, just incredible, naked stat accurate. These are naked stats once again. Look at that, 79%, guys. That's just unheard of. And these are naked. This is not even using any kind of filtration. 84% at night. Okay, I mean, that's just, I don't know how you're going to get better than that. You're not going to do it with an indicator, that's for sure. The only way you can do it is with patterns, all right? Because patterns are behavioral patterns. They repeat themselves over and over again. People are predictable. You have to remember that. That's why patterns work, because people are predictable, all right? They're not 100% predictable, but they can be 85% predictable, all right? And sometimes even higher. But on average, if you're on average, you're probably not going to be doing better than 85%. Okay, that's just kind of reality, because there's that 15% that's always going to be what I call noise in the market, or 15% unpredictability. You never know, like something, a report can come out, or president gets sick, or whatever the case may be. There's stuff you just can't predict. So accept the fact that you're never ever going to be 100%. Besides, you don't need to be 100% to make money. All right. Looking at CB trades, great CB trade week. Why? Because we had several days when everything was on, hitting on all 8 cylinders, and that's when you want to press it. And if you're in my chat room, you know what I'm talking about. I was telling everybody, you want to start pressing. This is where you want to get more aggressive, because these are the kind of days that you want to take advantage of, and that's what we had. We had several of them this week, which were just phenomenal, very consistent across the board for me. As you can see, it was just a great week overall. But once again, I also did a lot of filtration with the CB trades. Everything has filtration attached to it, right? So that's the way it is, even with CB. Now, CB is on a totally different level than the core strategy, and you can't, even as a first-time purchaser, even buy CB anymore. It's only available to my core traders that have purchased a package and have demonstrated the fact that they know how to trade. I'm not even going to get into teaching anybody any more CB unless they have a strong foundation of the core strategy. Okay, so for me, I want successful traders, all right? I don't want a bunch of system junkies. I don't want hobbyists. I want traders. And if you're a trader, you want to be a trader, I'll teach you how to trade. If you want to be a hobbyist, this is not the place to be, all right? So that being said, once again, if you have any questions, you can always go to my website, binaryprostrategies.com. Shoot me an email. If you have a question, I'll be glad to answer it for you. Also, get on my email list so I can keep everybody up to date here on any new, because I do have some new patterns that are coming out. I have some new information I'm going to be releasing. You've got to be on my subscription list in order for me to get that information out to you. So please subscribe to this channel. Please give me a thumbs up. This allows me to let me know that you guys are enjoying my content. And the more subscribers and the more thumbs up, I'm going to start releasing more free information for everybody, all right? So give me those thumbs up. Get those subscriptions in. The more I see, the more I'm going to provide free information, all right? Particularly if you're on my email list. Those that are on the email list will definitely be getting some free information that people that just never even provide me with an email, all right? That's just the way it is. But I do send out these weekly stats as well. You'll see some testimonials in there that I get every week, but I can only provide you that information if you give me your email address. BinaryProStrategies.com is the place to be, and I'll make sure that I get all that stuff in your hands. All right. That being said, I hope everybody have a great week. Once again, I've been saying this for a while. This is the best time to be trading binaries. So it's going to continue like this as we get into, even getting into the holidays. I expect to just be hitting some record days. So this is the time to do it right now. This is great action. So anyway, that being said, I hope everybody have a great trading week. I will be back next week with the next weekly recap to show how we've done for the week, not only on our PAP setups, but also on our CB trades. Everybody take care.